Hey guys, it's Carol, and thank you for stopping by for my mid-October stitching update. I'm gonna just lead off. I have a finish, my first of 2025. We're gonna ignore the fact it's October. I'm just excited to share it with you. And this is going to be Heartstrings Samplery, Be Thou My Vision from the Sunday Stitches collection. Here's where it was last time. And here it is, it's done. So I know my last video, I said that I really didn't want to have any more progress pics on this. So I just buckled down this last weekend and was like, I am going to finish this. And I did. So I'm really excited. I had started this in October 27th of 2022. 2022 was my year of starting apparently everything. Got it done on October 15th. So actually not over the weekend, but close enough. I'm really excited with how this came out. This is stitched on a small remnant piece. As you'll see, this is like literally the size I bought, of a 40 count Stars Hollow blend from R&R Reproductions. And I did not use the fancy floss called for in the pattern. I went with the DMC conversion, and I really like how it turned out on this fabric. So I guess one of these things that I know some people get into the idea you can't possibly convert fancy floss. Not every place has an LNS that makes it easy for you to be able to buy fancy floss. Yes, I know you can go ahead and mail order it, but sometimes for like a project of this size, it's 5 different colors. You may say, I don't know that I want to get these. I mean, some of these within here duplicate with, I actually had them in stash fragged for other projects. I just didn't want to go with it. But I just like how it came out, so I guess it's a reminder, or maybe more so to myself, because I'm really bad about this, where I can go with the intent of the designer and not necessarily the exact thing. I'm not gonna say I'm always that great about it, but anyway, so it's done, it's cute, I love it, can't believe this thing took me 3 years. We'll ignore that. But yeah, first finish, 2025. If you'll remember at the beginning of the year, I said I was going to get 12 done, and this was on the list, but yeah, there's no way 12 is happening. Let's just go and be honest, it's not that year. Next up is a seasonal piece that I was really enjoying for just kind of getting back into the groove of stitching what I want when I want, and this is Custom Crafts Autumn Chapel. The art is by Mark Keatling, and this is actually charted by Tarina Clark of Artisy, so you can get this. I've seen, the paper copies floating around from Custom Crafts on the internet, but you can also just go ahead and get a PDF from Artisy today if that's your jam. Here's what it was last time. This is my progress. So the really cool thing is I am almost to the point where I was when I had started this, because it's still over there. I still haven't pulled it out. But they're actually almost the same. I've come further over here than I ever did on the other time I started this, but it's about the same spot here. Just needs to be filled in a little more through here, but I figure I'm now starting to see things that I hadn't seen when I was doing it before. The only other thing I've noticed, so this one I'm doing just more of my basic cross country. I am going basically picking from the diagonal and just going where the thread takes me when I pick a color. But the back is definitely messier on this than on the other one where I was parking. I really don't enjoy parking. I find it very messy, and I think sometimes I get, like, if I'm not really careful, then I don't get it right. Whereas this, I am more apt to get all the stitches in the correct spot. So, or not worry about, did I pick up the right color? Did I put the color in the right spot when I parked in all of those things? Like, so on the whole, I am just really enjoying this. I thought it would be nice. The weather finally got a little brisk, and I don't know. It was just, and I wanted to do a full coverage so that I have no end, like, I don't have any, like, goal. This one literally has no goals. Like, there are some projects I have that I'm like, oh, I'll never get done. I have some projects that I'm like, oh, I really wish I could get it done yesterday. This one is just, like, really because it has no expectations. If I did 50 stitches, great. If I do 500 stitches, amazing. But it's not really any, like, it doesn't drive, like, I don't have anything I'm trying to reach for. I'm just happy when I put the stitches in. And so that has just been a lot of fun. At some point, I do think this will kind of come into more of a goal setting place where I do have those expectations, but for right now, it's just, this one was like a perfect palette cleanser because I had been pushing a couple of my projects like much more. So this just, it felt good. And also sometimes it's just nice. I like full coverage that doesn't look like anything right now. I mean, it's a bunch of modeled of trees. It does start looking more stuff-like as you get over here. It's just, I'm still up in the upper corner. The other thing that's nice is this isn't only, it's done in only 40 colors, but because of the range of colors, like, it is fun and it pops, but you're not necessarily, like, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't come into anything right away. You're like, what are these browns? And then when you get more of the stuff filled in, you're like, oh, I see how the trees and how it's different trees. I don't know. But it's a lot of fun, and I think that this one will be kind of coming out a little more as just like some seasonally inspired stitching over the next few months. So in contrast to Autumn Chapel, where I don't have any timeline for getting this one done, Long Dog Samplers make the Miller. Here's where it was last time. And here we go. So I started this one in September 2023. It was meant to be a Christmas present in 2023. Well, no, it is 2025. Pretty sure that the recipient knows of the existence of this project, so I'm not really going out of my way to keep it a secret anymore, but I do want to get it done this year. But this is like my lowest priority of the ones I think I can get done this year. So I went ahead and pulled it out. It's right at the 3/8 mark, so what we'll say it's roughly 38% done. Came over here and started working more on just putting together the dog legs. There's really nothing, I didn't do a lot. I think this was maybe like 3 lengths of floss. This is a 36 count Nantucket Brew from R&R Reproductions. I am doing this 2/2, so this is a very full stitching, which I am starting to find that I don't mind it on certain 36 count fabrics, but I am not loving it on this. But I mean, we'll say though, the black is really black, so it looks good. So I wouldn't like do this one differently, I don't think. I don't know, I am starting to really appreciate 1/2 on 36 counts, like, but I like 2 strands over 18 count, like, definitely. And again, I mean, I like it, it's just that sometimes it gets a little puffy, and this piece is like a size that's not great for me to be able to do two-handed stitching, which I think is part of why I don't pick it up as much as I probably ought to. Like, it's really not difficult stitching. It's only 2 colors. It is, you know, DMC 310 and 5200. So, I mean, it's, like I said, it's not difficult. It's just me sitting down and focusing has not really been a thing. But again, I would like to try to get this one done this year. I am now at the point where I think I can get 4 finishes, but I have 2 more that I'd prefer to get ahead of this one, so this one's like number 4. So if it gets done, it's gonna be like squeaking in at New Year's. Just letting you know right now. Oops. So for the piece that I've been taking along just whenever I leave the house and I have an extended amount of time that I might be able to pull out some cross stitch, I don't take small projects apparently. I take Modern Folk Embroidery's The Fruit of Plenty. This is the 2021 stitch along. Here's where it was last time. This is my current status. So this swirl is mostly filled in. I was really just trying to kind of balance it out because I had like, I think just a tail, but part of it. I didn't do a lot. I don't know. I had been mostly working in this darker color. I think I need to go back in and fill some of, there's like a little bit of fruits over here. And then there's the house that I want to start working on next. I haven't had a lot of time with this one, so it's kind of funny. It keeps going in my bag. Because what I do is just chuck the entire project bag with it in there and keep my hoop with me. And I have a little tote bag and it comes along. Sometimes it gets pulled out, sometimes it doesn't. It's one of those things that at any bit of time I put into this, I'm happy because again, I have backed off one. I don't have any expectations for this one right now. I just have been enjoying the process. And it's funny sitting here holding this is I'm actually cramped very awkwardly against my chair. Not comfortable. But when I'm looking at it basically in the camera viewer, is I'm like, oh, I love this one. And I think you see it in a way when I hold it up like this, I don't always see the whole piece because I usually just have what I'm working on and it's mostly white space just because of what I'm putting the hoop on the areas that I'm not working on. And so it's just like, oh, I love this. But again, just the little bits. Like I said, this swirl, super cute. I am still doing it just card by card. So it's funny, like this card butts up right on this motif, but I don't touch this motif at all. So it's just to fill in. If it comes out anytime soon, great, but I don't think, other than when I'm away from home, I'm not going to be pulling this one out. So anytime you see it for probably the next few months, it's going to look a lot like this. Put in 100 stitches here, 50 there. Not a lot, but just enough to be like, at least I've done something. And lastly, I'm going to finish up with my 2 focus pieces. First up is Mirabilia Designs Winter Queen. Here's where she was last time. So here she is. I think I'm chopping off the top of her head. Sorry about that. But I didn't work up there, so you've seen it before, so I'm not so worried about that. I was working down here. Now, I have not put a lot of, said this is a focus piece, and you're going to say, but not a lot has changed since last time you shared it, Carol. So how are you calling this a focus piece? I'm calling it a focus piece because I am now going to treat this as I have to finish it. Now, I will not get it finished before the next video, just based on what I have planned out my filming schedule, but I didn't put as much time in this one because I was trying to finish up Be That My Vision, but I've now pulled it out and I've really started, so all of this gray here has now been backstitched because it's finished. So filled this in all the way, including the white right here. Started pulling these blue colors because it was only this part before. Now I'm doing here. So this is basically the edge. I am at the bottom here. It's only 30 stitches to the bottom. Now that bottom goes across over here somewhere. I'll lift this so you can see it. So the bottom is somewhere here and then it goes across because the fabric is going to swoop this way. But it's actually pretty blocky stitching, so it's going to go fast when I do it. However, I'm really feeling called to do all the beading that's remaining up here. Really the thing, for whatever reason, today I want to bead. I don't know why. So hopefully I get a lot of beading done before the next time that we chat. That would be fantastic. But I'm looking at this and going, way back in May, I said that I should be able to get this one. And I had filmed that video. It was at the beginning of May. The first week. And I said, I should be able to get this done by the end of the month because I had that was 3.5 weeks left. I can easily get this done in a 3.5 week time frame as long as I give it some attention. Now, the funny part, this one's going to get done first, but it's actually my secondary focus piece, not my primary. So that probably sounds really confusing. I'm saying, okay, I'm planning on getting this done functionally in 3.5 weeks. This will be done no later than Thanksgiving. And that's giving myself many weeks. That's 5 because we're nowhere near Thanksgiving. But, I'm trying to be reasonable because obviously I said that back in May and that I would have it done by the end of May and it's obviously not done. But it's definitely at the place where I am starting to feel that pull to sit down and do a lot of work on it. And that's why it's becoming my secondary focus because I don't want to put all of my energy into this. It would be very easy for me to do. And I have noticed about myself that things that I'm telling myself I have to do, actually Be That My Vision, I was struggling to finish. I was at the last maybe 25 stitches. And I'm I don't want to finish this. Why? There's no good reason to not finish it. It was just, I wasn't getting the dopamine rush that sometimes the end of a project, and I think the problem is small projects don't tend to do that for me. I don't love their size. I like slightly more complex stuff, whatever. This is a big enough project. When I start feeling that pull for sit down and finish it, I will be almost single-minded about it. And I can feel it. I could feel it when I did a little bit of work on it this morning. And then I'm I don't want to put this down so that I can, make my video. That is how much I am really feeling this right now. So it's my secondary focus piece, but it'll probably be my next finish just because I definitely wanted this done this year. it's beautiful. I love everything about it. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. And I am looking forward to it because the beading is actually more sparkly than it probably comes across on camera, but there's not a lot. The ones that are sparkly there's not a lot of them. There is more of it, I think, once the sleeves are done, because the sleeves are basically entirely beaded. So that's why I think I'm actually like, oh, I want to do those right now. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, look at this. There's only a little bit more whisper that goes in down here. The only back stitching left, I believe, is just with the Krynic, like here. So I guess I really am feeling that whole like, oh, she's a big project. I've had her around since 2022, like all my other projects, but I see the end in sight, and I am just, I don't know, Mirabilia is like, when I get to that point, they grab me and don't let go. Earlier this year, I had started doing the daily 30, which the idea is you don't have a set number of stitches, just for 30 minutes, you sit down and you cross stitch. And the idea is that a little bit gets a project to the end, like almost without you thinking about it. And I was doing great on it until I wasn't. So my daily 30 is no longer daily 30. It is now my primary focus. And that is Modern Folk Embroidery's No Time Like the Present, the 2024 stitch along. Here's where it was last time. And this is my current status for No Time Like the Present. I have finished everything through May with the exception of like a couple stitches right here. As far as I'm concerned, they don't count because what I actually am going to do is run them down, and this actually has like a cross piece down here, so I just didn't want to put the 844 on the needle and work it down like I was doing here. But I was thinking about, okay, I could just put this back as a daily 30, do 30 minutes, it won't get done this year, it'll get done next year. And when I have that 30 minutes consistently, it works out great. The problem is, with everything I have going on, I really still I don't have that sit down 30 minutes, knock out a little bit on projects. So I might go back to the idea of a daily 30 at some point with some other project, but I'm halfway through with this. Actually, a little more, because you can see I've actually come a good chunk down into the June card. I am going to prioritize this. So I am basically taking what is, each month is roughly 3,000 stitches. I have 5 months of these left, so 15,000 stitches between now and the end of the year, which is very doable, but on this project. So I can't, if I do it as a daily 30, it won't get there. It'll never get there. But I'm really past when I was doing the part where I was only doing each month at a time. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I would do it again, but and I have the paper book for this. I know I've said it before, but I am not a PDF pattern person. If I have a PDF pattern, I literally print it out and I use a highlighter. I am really I want to say the most analog person ever, but I'm actually not. I waste way too much of my time doing dumb stuff on the internet. I've talked about that before. I might sidetrack into that today. Maybe not. I haven't decided how long I'm going to talk. But in order for me to really love stitching, I find my happiest way to do it are with pieces of paper. I don't need more screens in my life. I actually need less. And I don't mind. I will say, for me, the game changer is the highlighter. Like, when I was a kid, the cross stitch patterns were to be used, like, you looked at them, but you followed them, but highlighting, we did not make working copies in my household. I don't know why. I mean, photocopies for 10 cents at the county library, I could have done that. Why did my life easier? But I didn't know what I didn't know. I don't know. I love working copies. And ironically, except for this, because I do not use a working copy, because there's only 2 symbols, it's really easy to follow along. But I do have the paper book. So right now, June is on the left-hand side of the pages I have open. July is on the right-hand side. So what I basically am doing is I'm doing June, and I'm just going down as long as that thread carries me. And if I wander into July, great. Basically, I'm trying to make the motifs it's about trying to make sense. So you see how I'm doing this. I hope that follows. But I'm not restricting myself. I'm not going to get to the bottom of June and say, look, oh, I can't do that. I'm just going to keep taking these down. And I'm hoping that might speed some of it along. June is actually, because all of this stretch isn't, there's just the numerals, but it's not a lot. It's actually decent amount of white space compared to a lot of the rest of this. I mean, I didn't realize, but like when I'm sitting here and going, wow, this is really heavily stitched to the top, it's pretty heavily stitched to the bottom too, but I am like hitting the months where there is a little bit of a gap. I'm basically saying, I thought about it and said, do I want to have this thing say 2026 on it? And because I went into the year wanting this to be a get this one done. Prove that I can, to myself, that I can get a Modern Folk Embroidery stitch along done in 1 year. I mean, I have 3 of them and obviously still haven't succeeded yet. Oops. But I think that this one is, and I love it. That's the other thing. When I sit and work on it, I love working on it. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead, make this a focus piece. So it's now going to get however much. I haven't actually like partitioned it out yet to see. I'm basically doing right now, I'm just like, okay, how fast can I get June and July done? I'm going to use those 2 because it's a 40% of what's left. The way it is on the book makes sense to me. Like when I sit down and stitch, and I have, again, 2.5 months left. I should be able to, basically is that I'm now, instead of having a month to do a month's set of pages, I'm giving myself like 2 weeks. So the idea is that if I can knock out June and July, we'll say over arbitrarily the next 3 or 4 weeks, then I know that I am on pace, that I can get this one done. If I can't do it, then I might, you know, stop the whole thing early and be like, yeah, I'll just deal with it saying 2026 instead of 2025. It's, at the end of the day, it's a 5, not, you know, a 6 advice, a 5 doesn't really make a difference. But like I said, I've been putting a lot of like this one has ended up being my focus piece. I mean, if you can see just how much I've done even since last time, it has been I want to work on this. So I am basically going to go along with that feeling, make this my focus piece, and hopefully I can, you know, balancing this in Winter Queen. That, I mean, I guess they both have like their own challenges in that aspect, so we'll see if I have bitten off more than I can chew. But I have 1 finish for the year. I had 3 finishes last year. I'm thinking, for me, the win scenario, I get this one done, I get Winter Queen done, and you know, that's good enough. That would be really awesome for me. So I guess we'll see. And all of that. This is a 1/2 on 36 count creme brulee using DMC 844 and 645. I don't know. It's great. It's beautiful. Like, I don't know. I think I can do this. I really do. But yeah, I mean, basically it needs to like an hour a day, hour and a half. Okay, I can easily find an hour. How finding an hour and a half is much harder, but I have in fact been working on changing some of my routine, so I have been finding that hour. So hopefully when I come back in a week, and yes, I am coming back in a week, I am not going to do the erratic schedule. It doesn't work for me. I don't know if my plans are feasible. I don't know if they're realistic. I mean, I'm not good at making feasible, realistic plans anyway, so I would just like own that in the first place. But I am hoping that I have been doing some digital detox, if you will. And that's where I was kind of mentioning finding that extra hour in my day. I have some maladaptive coping techniques, to use all the beautiful therapy speak out there. But the point is, when I have only like a little bit of time, I often will be like, oh, I can do this. I will end up using more of that time. So these are all like the random 10 minutes in the course of my day while I'm waiting for the water to come to a boil for me making dinner, or, I mean, any of the number of things. Anyway, so point, I basically have cut all of that out, like, hard. I have found so much more time in my day. I always had 24 hours in a day. I sleep the same amount I used to, all of that. The other thing is I'm trying to get away from screens earlier in the evening, so I fall asleep in a better way. It's been working, by the way. So I really like highly recommend that. But it is a result that I'm finding all of a sudden I have like so much time. I've been getting more books read. I've been more productive at the things that I want to do. But I do find myself having to fight that inclination when I'm like, oh, well, it would only be 15 minutes. And it would be fantastic. It's something fun you enjoy. And I'm like, but in that 15 minutes, whatever, doom scrolling, puzzles, crappy mobile games, whatever, any of that. At the end of that 15 minutes, would I prefer to have done 15 minutes on one of my cross-stitch projects or 15 minutes in a book that I'm reading for my book club? Or would I prefer to have done whatever the 15 minutes of digital ephemera there was? And the answer is, I definitely would prefer the cross-stitching or the reading that I am prioritizing, but I hadn't been doing that. So it's definitely been a big change for me. I have been doing this now for about 2 weeks. My house is cleaner. My sleep is better. I'm feeding my family nutritious meals. I'm actually back on a budget. Like, I know it sounds like but sometimes it's the not pointing at one bad habit and saying, you know, I'm not going to do that anymore. And you find that in order to avoid the bad habit, you actually have to start filling the time with other things. And it's all the other things are the things that I actually wanted to do, but I wouldn't prioritize the time enough to do them. So now I'm really taking that time to prioritize them. And hence, like I said, really feeling good about the cross stitch. And I don't know, I would just challenge anyone to, if you have that one bad habit that's eating the time that you're at the end of your day, you're like, where did my day go? Why didn't I get done what I wanted to get done? Like, knock that habit out. You don't need it in your life. And I sometimes have to, would I prefer to have, like, that is literally the words I used against myself this morning. And I really did, I would prefer to have spent that time on Winter Queen. And I did, and it was great. And I think that that's part of it, is just prioritizing my leisure time. And I guess I never thought that you were allowed to really prioritize leisure time. Like, the only way you could prioritize leisure time was by making it almost like your hobby becomes your job. Like, you have to do. You know, you don't have to do that. You can say, I just really like to do this and it's valuable to me for itself. And that's okay. I don't know. I'm a really terrible guru, so you can listen to me or not. But I do think that, like I said, I have found so much more time. So I really think that my goals are not unreasonable. And I am, again, part of me finding, like, scheduling is saying, okay, I'm going to sit down and talk to the camera as an accountability thing. That's part of why my house is cleaner. I have an accountability partner for my house. So you guys, my YouTube videos, you're now my accountability partner for me using my leisure time in the way that I want to. And not in the, oh, my goals didn't work out, oops, sorry. Like, not like that. I mean in the, hey, these are, like, that's why I picked only 2 projects. Now, I know that I'm going to at some point be like, I need just to change of pace. So I pulled out, like, a whole bunch of these. So Dreaming of Tulips here, Stargazer. I have them around, and there is literally to 50 stitches. And I've told myself, I do these, I pull something out because I just need to change of pace. I do 50 stitches, I put it aside. I don't have to show massive amounts of progress. It's just I feel better, to do kind of like what I had been doing with the Fruit of Plenty and taking it around with me to various things, or like traveling. If I get to it, great. If I don't, it's not, but it's that I'm allowing myself, and actually had gotten to where I wasn't pulling out any of my cross stitch because I was feeling so bad about not doing, like, having failed at goal oriented. So this is I'm giving my permission of the next week. I have, how many of these? There are like 6 of these. And if none of them get touched, that's okay too. That's why I'm not telling you I have plans for these projects. I'm just telling you that they are hey, I want to do something. I pull it out and it should work out. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm hoping that works, and I will let you know if it doesn't, because I think sometimes, we have these bright ideas, we share our bright ideas, and then we don't, tell, I'm sharing this with you now, and if I don't come back and say, hey, yeah, so remember I thought I would do that, but all it did was send me down the rabbit hole of another project, so I came off of my focus project that I really wanted to do, and I'd be like, I mean, that's the sort of thing that when I'm the viewer, I want people to tell me. So I'm gonna try to make a point of doing that for you guys because honestly, you guys matter. And in that, thank you so much for stopping by. If you've made it here to the end of the video, as always, thank you. Like, I know that this part is the talking head part that isn't always the most exciting, but I appreciate it. And, you know, please drop a comment. I love to respond. And I won't like respond while a textile if you really I have to remind myself not to do that. But anyway, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Take care.